Welcome to the Traders Clinic, your regular shot in the arm of trader insights, philosophy and knowledge, brought to you by two professional money managers, Ali Crooks and Charlie Burton.
In each episode, we cover all things from the world of trading and answer your burning trading questions. And we're back.
We are indeed in the middle of the summer, 2025.
Yes.
And so we'll be people will be watching this in November and December thinking, why haven't they changed?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So we're going to start with a question that I know you've probably had asked 1,000 times. I know I've had it asked to me. It's the infamous, what's the best trading strategy? Yeah.
I was asked this just a few weeks ago. I was doing a presentation overseas, and this chap said, "Oh, what's your best trading strategy?" And I'm thinking, well, the one that I'm talking to you about now, probably. But I think that a lot of people think that there's a holy grail best strategy, and that you and I might know what that is. Bearing in mind, there must be millions of trading strategies, so it's nigh on impossible to know what is the best. But I think ultimately the best trading strategy is the one that fits with you and your personality and is most suited in that regard. Because, for example, different people are going to have different dispositions towards different styles of trading. So, for example, you've got a counter trend strategy, which some people might really, that may really be attractive to them because they want to catch a low, and catch a run. Whereas for another person with a different personality type, they actually find that quite scary and they'd rather trade with a trend. So again, different people are going to want different types, or different types of approach are going to suit different personality types more than another. So ultimately, there is no best trading strategy. It's the one that you can trade and trade fully the best without deviating from the plan and all of that. So if you can execute a strategy without being stressed and all these other things as a result of trading it, that's the best trading strategy, not the one that, you think is going to make you hundreds and hundreds of percents. Because although there could be some strategies out there that will do that, one is that they're likely to have massive drawdowns, and then you wouldn't like that. So it's finding the right thing for the individual, and that does take time. But there's not a one size all fits.
Exactly. Yeah, I think one of the things that you see is people will ask you that because they'll in their head they're determining two things. Number one, well, because you trade that strategy, it must be better than every other strategy out there. Well, no, you've just hit the nail on the head by saying that strategy is best for you based on what you want to trade, the years of experience, and also all of the iterations that you've gone through to get to that point where you go, this is the strategy that works for me. On top of that, I would expect you're probably not trading exactly the same way you did 20 years ago. So your strategy and your way that you trade evolves, and it evolves to what the markets are doing or the type of trading you're doing, whether you're day trading or swing trading. So the broadness of the question creates almost more problems than it does solutions. And I think if the trader can realize that the way that they trade, I have a phrase: is does the strategy work? But more importantly, can you work it? Because it's all good having a strategy that gives you these huge percentage gains, but can you actually deliver on it? And it might be that it's too early in your trading career or too early in your trading journey to deal with the level of losses that strategy might have. So it might have a a lower win rate, but a higher risk to reward, and that might not be right for you at that time. So I think it's not just picking one strategy and saying, right, that's it. This is the best strategy out there, and you do it. And I've seen a lot of people, over-engineer a strategy to try and make it better, have a higher win rate, when actually it's perfectly acceptable where it is. And if they balance the want for the highest possible return versus actually being able to deliver on the strategy, they probably end up being more successful.
I think, it's like you've just hinted at something there. What people want, but can they actually follow that? So I've had traders that I've mentored over the years who have had trades of 1 to 50 risk reward. Then other traders hear about that and they're like, I want to trade that. I want a 1 to 50. You put them into a trade which has the potential to be a 1 to 10 even, and they're literally jumping out at 1 to 1.5 risk reward. So like you've just said, that sort of thing takes experience. So that's not right for someone who, big risk reward ratio type trading mostly isn't going to be right for beginner traders. They don't have the disposition to be able to hold on, because our natural urgency is to take what's on the table now. Instant gratification is too strong. When we're younger as traders, that takes time. So like you've just said, you could have a really good strategy with a 1 to 3 risk reward ratio, but you give that to a beginner and they'll be all over the place because they're itching to come out at 1 to 1, 1 to 1.5. So it's like in puppy training, don't set yourself up for failure. So don't try and go for a 1 to 3, 1 to 4 as a strategy. You're just going to set yourself up for failure because you're not emotionally there yet for it. So go for the lower ones. Like you said, they'll deliver for you, but it's easier to hold on for a 1 to 2 risk reward ratio than it is for a 1 to 4 or 1 to 5, So these things do evolve. So the best trading strategies actually evolve with the person. I say to people, look, this is how I trade, like you will do with yours. But I don't expect, if I was teaching a room of 100 people, I wouldn't expect everyone to trade it exactly how I trade it. Yeah, go off and have your little nuances, have your little, because then you personalize the strategy to you. Yes, that person may be trading your strategy, Ali Crooks' strategy, but with a twist.
Yeah.
And I think that's really, really important, personalizing it to what works for the individual.
Well, actually, with the people I work with, I'm much happier when they do that.
Yeah.
For me, I'd much rather them say, well, okay, great, but you trade it that way, or there's a core element to it, or there's five core elements, but I've decided to run the trade longer because I've gone away and seen that the data shows that I can do that. And I'm like, yes, great, you've taken ownership over this strategy rather than just gone, well, I'm just going to trade exactly the same way as Ali because that's the best and he's done the work. They've actually, and also when that strategy goes through the inevitable drawdown periods, if they've got a sense of ownership to it, it's less disposable. They're much more likely to stick through it. So I think that's a really important point.
Yeah, exactly. It's personalize it, make it something which is important to the individual. And I think you just hit the nail on the head. You're more likely to stick with it over the years. People constantly strategy hop. As soon as, like you've just said, as soon as you go for a drawdown, that's it. They're chucking that one in the bin, looking for a new one. And a lot of strategies, there's nothing wrong with them. A lot of approaches, there's nothing wrong with them. Yes, they might evolve with the trader over the years. And a simple example is what we just said, that the trader starts off with a strategy at 1 to 2 risk reward, and they know that they can actually make more money if it's at 1 to 3. But they haven't earned the right to go to 1 to 3 yet. And as their thick skin gets thicker to the rejection of the ones that go to 1 to 2 and then just roll back over, and they get to the point where it's okay, I can understand the big picture, I'll make more money at 1 to 3, let's say with that strategy, then they've evolved with it and they've earned the right to trade it that way, and they then are making it personal to themselves. So yeah, really good. Yeah.
Good. So on to our question, which I think is a really interesting one. What's one thing you would have done differently with your trading? So looking back, what's one thing, with the benefit of hindsight, you'd have done a bit differently?
Nothing. And the reason I say nothing, and I don't mean to be flippant, but if I hadn't made all the mistakes that I would have made over the years, I wouldn't be the trader that I am today. So I wouldn't actually change anything. Of course, I could pick numerous things, but that's what builds you as a trader. You become the whole from your wins, your losses, your mistakes, all the things that you do. So although I could cherry pick, I'm sure plenty of examples of where I say, oh yeah, I didn't do that well, or didn't trade through that area well, and especially in the beginning years. But actually, no, I wouldn't change a thing, because if you did, you wouldn't be the trader you are today, like I wouldn't be.
Yeah, I think it's very easy for traders earlier on to be in that mode of, I wish I'd done that differently, I wish I'd done that, I wish I'd done this. But sometimes also, I could sit here and say, well, with the benefit of hindsight, knowing that when I started logging my trades and really delving into how many trades I was taking, what was the pattern behind it, especially when I was day trading when the frequency was high. I could look back and say, oh, if I'd got into that earlier and started recording my trade 6 months earlier, I would have learnt that lesson earlier. But what you've said is very important, because actually 6 months earlier I might not have been ready to listen to the lesson, even if I had recorded it. So when you've had that much time in the game, you start to look at it and go, actually, each one of those issues, hurdles, challenges, whatever you want to call them, they've all molded together to give you the insights that you have now. And there are certain things you will do now and not do, and certain approaches that are the sum total of everything that's happened. And you take one element out, it's a different journey. So I think I like that. I think that's a really good way to look at it. Yeah. And it also sits well, because so many traders spend so much time living in a place of regret about the previous month, the previous week, the previous trade, whatever it is. And actually thinking that way is, no, it's all part of the journey. As long as you're learning from those mistakes, then they were there for a reason. Yeah, exactly. It's what makes you the trader you are. You take someone who's 6 months into their trading, they're still on a steep learning curve during that period. A year into their trading, still in a steep learning curve. They will look back when they're 3 years in, saying, "Oh my God, I can't believe the things I did in year one," sort of thing. But you need to go through those to make you who you are in year 3, and then in year 5, and so on and so forth. And we still make mistakes to varying degrees. Still, even after a quarter of a century of trading, I still make mistakes. More often than not, they're execution errors, because I'm trading multiple accounts, and now and again I'll put the wrong lot size in. Yeah. But that's just human error. And it doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things. People say, "Oh, I've got to eradicate that. I'll go automated." You're like, don't worry about it. Yes, there are certain protocols that you can follow. Like I always go back and check over when I've placed a trade. I go across multiple accounts. Then I spend time going back over them. Right, is the stop loss right there? And that's when I'll usually notice, oh, I've put the wrong lot size in. It's very easy to put one extra 0 in, or whatever it might be, and you've done an execution error. So doesn't matter how long you've been trading, there will still be things that you will do wrong. Some things that you just can't fix. You just have to accept that you're going to make mistakes, even once you're a competent trader. Silly little things like an execution error, placing your stop loss incorrectly. And then people, like you've just said, people think, I must find a way to rectify this. I'll automate. Well, there can be problems with automation as well. Exactly. So, yeah. Good. I think that's a good place to finish.
It really is good. Indeed. His name's Ali Crooks.
His name's Charlie Burton.
Trade safely out there.